Tough end. Tough end of the season. Still kind of getting my thoughts together here. We're live. Thank you for joining everybody here on Monster Territory. Brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Bummer of a night here tonight. You know, I had some high hopes coming into this series. I think they were good enough to win this series. But we saw the return of the first half Red Sox here tonight. All the frustrations that we had over the first 2-3 months of the season, it came back here tonight. Defensive miscues, bad communication in the outfield, sloppy play, balls that I felt like they were capable of coming up with here tonight. Just a tough night. It's tough. You know, I've been watching the Red Sox now for a long time, and and I'm also trying to keep an even keel here. I understand where the Red Sox are at. I get it. You know, coming back to the postseason, first time since 2021. It's been a tough few years. In the end, this year was a step in the right direction. No matter how it ended, you knew this year was only going to be the first of quite a lot here over the next few years. They're back into a competitive window. That's the positive here for this, is the Red Sox are back. They are back to competing every single year, but it still stings. And because you felt like you had something here, but at the same time, you felt like you could have had more. You felt like you could have maybe done more at the deadline. Losing Roman Anthony absolutely hurt. You know, that was a game changer, and for Roman for this offseason, I think he's going to be a very special player, but he needs to get after it this offseason. You know, him and Marcelo Meyer, right? Those are guys that are going to be big contributors to the Red Sox moving forward. They need to get themselves, and again, I know they're rookies this year. I'm not getting onto them about, the injuries that they've had. But at the end of the day, this is what you got in front of you. You need to go out there this offseason. Go get yourself into game 162 game shape. I'm not saying they're in bad shape. I'm just saying you need to get yourself built up for the grind, right? And in the end, young, very young, talented players, all the talent in the world, and they just weren't able to hold up. And it's fine. But losing Roman absolutely hurt at the top of the lineup. You saw Jarren Duran here tonight. 0 for 4, couple of strikeouts. Duran, I'm going to talk about my offseason questions. I'm going to talk about my concerns, but Jarren Duran is going to be included in that conversation. Very interested to see what happens there. I mean, I'm trying to just even get all my thoughts together here. It was a bad night defensively, but give it up for Connerly early, man. That guy came out there and pitched his butt off. It's not his fault that guys out behind him just weren't doing their job. He looked great from the get-go. I thought the stuff looked good. He was hitting his spots. A guy at his age who was just pitching in college a couple of years ago in Yankee Stadium in a hostile environment, coming out there and just throwing strikes, good stuff, getting swing and miss, keeping him off balance. But when you don't got the guys getting the job done behind you, it's only a matter of time before that catches up. And he did what he could. He was mixing in all his pitches. He was getting strikes. He was doing a great job, I thought. But you go back to the second inning. Jarren Duran, Cedar Rafaela, Giancarlo Stanton with a liner. Off the bat, kind of looked like a home run. I'll be honest. Like, I was thinking, oh man, that one's looking pretty good. But then all of a sudden, it just died. It had some backspin on it. But you look at Duran and Seti, and they're just watching it. They're just looking. They're jogging. I'm thinking, what are we doing? Run! Like, go after it. And then you see Stanton. The guy's even still on that, barely getting into second base. And that right there, that was the first red flag for me here tonight. I'm thinking, oh man, something is not right. Something's not feeling right. And then Bellinger with the bloop later on. Seti Willier. Something happened there. Something was awkward there. Miscommunication. Seti took a weird route to the ball. Willier coming on strong. It looked like Seti was trying to avoid him in the end. I don't know what was going on there. That's something that we have seen many times this season miscommunication left and right. And this has happened for how long? I mean, one example that comes to mind, you go back to Duran and Massa at Wrigley, right? Almost running into each other out there. And it's happened with Seti a lot this year where, I don't know, like guys just don't seem to be talking. I get it. It's loud. I don't know, man. It seems to happen a lot more to the Red Sox than it does with other teams. I don't know. Romy Gonzalez, I have talked about how he has been better defensively at second base. But tonight, 86-mile-an-hour ball right off the bat of Volpe, just getting by Romy. So I'm thinking, what happened there? What was the positioning tonight with both outfielders and infielders? One got by Story as well. It was a hard-hit ball, granted. But I wonder, was the positioning the best it could have been here tonight, where they were lined up in the infield and in the outfield? Was that something maybe that wasn't right? I don't know. Just a lot of problems with the defense here tonight. And that's too bad, again, for Connolly early, because this guy, I thought he did enough. I obviously would love him to do what Cam Schlittler did here tonight. Tip of the cap to Schlittler. Listen, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to be, one of those where I'm going to just say stuff to get a reaction. That's not who I am. That's not my show. I'm not going to, go out here and just try to get clickbait material. I'm going to tip my cap to the Yankees. At the end of the day, they won this series. Schlittler pitched a heck of a game here tonight. He absolutely shut down this Red Sox offense. And that was another thing, the Red Sox offense. I felt like they were actually doing a pretty decent job in the beginning. They were working up the pitch count. They were, right around 40 pitches or so through the first couple of innings. I'm thinking, all right, this was one of the keys that I talked about. You got to try and get him out of the game because that's a guy with good stuff. They were swinging at curveballs here tonight. I think that's what they were looking for, but Schlittler was just on top of his game. Tip of the cap. They played great. They deserve to go on to Toronto. Simple as that. The Red Sox did not deserve to move on. I don't think they deserved it. And quite frankly, looking at how this series went after Crochet, I don't think they were built for it. I mean, who knows? At the end of the day, teams, they can get hot. They can get that magic, right? But to me, I don't know. Just didn't seem like a team that was fully ready to go on some kind of a run. I know they had some magical moments this year. We had some fun this year. But under the bright lights, without Crochet, you didn't have it. I mean, you even saw Crochet going out to the bullpen. That's something you shouldn't have to do. I know it might have gotten people revved up that Crochet, he was going out there. But you shouldn't have to do that. The fact that he needs to go out there, that just shows right there what is wrong with the roster and what needs to be added to the pitching staff. We all know. We all know what needs to happen this coming offseason. I'm going to talk about that. Frustrating night. That's really all I have to say. But give it up to the Yankees. I see Josh is here. Enjoy the offseason. Don't you sing the New York song to me. Not right now. But no, Yankee fans, hey, you lost Soto last offseason. Things were looking grim, but you know what? They went out there. They made moves. And here they are, going on to Toronto. I think that's going to be a good series. You got two teams that are they got a lot of talent. Let's see what happens. I think that's a pretty even series right there. I think one of those teams could easily go on to the World Series, right? We'll see what happens in the other half. The Tigers advanced here. They're going on to face the Mariners. We'll see. Can that Mariners pitching staff step up? We'll see. But again, one more tip of the cap to the Yankees. They played a great game here tonight. They played a good series after Crochet. Everybody, really quick, before we move on here, I am letting you know the phone line is open tonight. I know a lot of you got some thoughts on your mind. You got some things to say. You got some stuff to get off your chest. I know there's going to be some frustration out there. I know there's going to be some thoughts, some reactions. Phone line's open. Voicemails at the end of the show. If you want to be included, get that in during the show here. Keep it clean. This is a family-friendly show at the end of the day. I can read the transcripts. If you use any dirty language, I'm not going to play it. Sorry. But we'll get to those. We'll get to those. Let's get to it. Let's get to it here. Man, I am bummed out. I am bummed out, man. That was a fun season just to end like that. I'm not really going to go over this game too much. Again, there's more things to discuss moving forward, right? But just kind of breaking this down, the defense really blew it here tonight. And again, that's a shame for Mr. Early. First inning, he looked great. Had an 8-pitch, 1-2-3 inning in the first. He struck out Grisham. Second inning, Stanton with a double. Like I said, you had a lot of backspin on it. Duran and Seti, they're just jogging after it. Listen, I understand if maybe you think Duran had that issue yesterday. Remember he had the liner from Judge, and he said after the game, he was accountable for it, right? He took it, but he said, something along the lines of he had a tough time reading it off the bat. I don't know if that's what happened here, but again, listen, when I'm seeing guys that are just kind of trotting after a ball, even though they might think it's a home run. Sorry, man, but that's the difference when it comes to a winning team. You got to give a little bit more hustle there, because if they were in position and even a little closer to the ball when it landed, I don't know. That's a play where Stanton, maybe he ends up staying at first. It ended up not coming back to bite them there, but it's more the principle of it, right? Early, he settled down. He got a couple more Ks, had a couple more strikeouts in the third inning, and then he just had the meltdown in the fourth. Bellinger with the bloop, Will Ursetti with the miscommunication. I don't know. That's something that they're going to have to work on next spring training, this offseason, whatever it may be. I don't know why that's been such a problem. Is that on Seti? I know he's basically the quarterback out there in center field. Is that something that he's going to have to get better at? I don't know. It's been a consistent issue this year with the Red Sox where they just seem to get tangled up out there. They get close to, I don't know. After that, Stanton with the walk. Rosario, Jazz, Volpe with the base hit. Back-to-back-to-back, 2-0. Wells with the grounder to Lowe. He had the error there. I get it. Bases are loaded. But, Lowe, that's the one thing you were pretty confident with when he came in. You weren't sure what he was going to give you with the bat, but you knew the defense was going to be solid, and that was just a tough one at a very tough time. After that, a couple of runs scored. All the air came out at that point. I just knew. Honestly, I had the big red flag to me was just the defense in the outfield on the first couple of things I mentioned. Those are the big red flags to me. I didn't feel good after those. I don't know. Something happened for when it came to my mentality after that. But but it was the error from Lowe that really set the tone for me after that. So that made it 4-0. I mean, you had nothing after that. Schlittler, this guy was absolutely amazing here tonight. 7 innings, 5 hits. I believe he finished with 12 strikeouts here tonight. Let me just double check that. 8 innings. 8 innings. My goodness. The guy, what a performance. What a performance. Nothing really else to say. Rookie season, you're stepping up at a big spot like that to clinch the wild card series. Heck of a performance, man. They couldn't do anything against him. Swinging and missing. He just settled in. I don't know. I just felt like they went a completely different game plan, because there were times when they were just swinging out of their shoes and he was still thrown out of the zone. But hey, credit to him as well. He was mixing locations. He was just pumping that fastball. He's got a ton of velo. I don't know, man. I just felt like the Red Sox, they got away from that approach in the first couple of innings. They were working the counts, and then they just fell off after that. It is what it is. Credit to the bullpen. I know. Trust me. There's not really a whole lot of good, but the bullpen gave you a chance after that. But the bats couldn't do anything. It is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to talk about the offseason here. We're going to talk about the offseason. There's a lot of question marks for this coming offseason. A lot to discuss, and then we'll get to the voicemails. Really quick, though, we do have a word from our sponsor. They're keeping the lights on here. I'll be right back. October baseball is here, and the pressure's on, the lights are brighter, and with DraftKings Sportsbook, you're right there in the middle of every moonshot moment. Live in-game betting and odds that can change as fast as a ball is flying over the fence. New customers bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. So go ahead and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL, that's code FOUL, to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Alrighty, let's get to it. Who's ready for the offseason? It sounds terrible to say. Like, it's weird with me because I do love the offseason. Like, I really do. I love all the rumors. I love free agency. I love the trades. I love the roster construction side of things, but I don't love it right now. I don't. You got to give me a week, postseason, finish that out. I want to be excited for I am excited for the offseason, but this is, I just can't find it. But these are the thoughts at the top of my head. First things first, Alex Bregman. What's going on here? What's going on with Bregman? We got to get a new contract. I think they're going to get it done. This man has just done too many things this year for the Red Sox. So many positive things. I know he went down with a quad injury at one point, but he was so good when it came to leadership. He communicated with the young guys. He just brought a different energy to the Red Sox. Something I felt like the Red Sox were lacking. You need to keep Bregman in a Red Sox uniform, not just because of the player that he is, but what the intangibles that he brings. I mean, the guy was doing a Sam Adams thing, or the collaboration with Sam Adams. I mean, come on, like, he's gonna stay. I highly doubt he's gonna go somewhere else, especially when the Red Sox showed so many good things. I do think you're gonna see a contract that it's gonna have different kinds of incentives, and it'll probably have some options in there when it comes to injuries and whatnot, durability. I think you'll have that kind of language in the contract, but I do think they're eventually going to come to terms. There was a lot of positives with him. I have a hard time seeing him going to Detroit or Seattle or whatever. I don't see it. It makes too much sense for Bregman to stick around. Trevor Story. What's going to happen with Story? He's got the opt-out. Had a great year. I could easily see Story opting out. I know a lot of people are thinking, no way he's going to leave, that money. He's got a couple of years left. There's no way he's going to leave that on the table. Why not? I mean, after the year that he had, if his agent feels like he can go out there, get a 3 or 4 year deal, more guaranteed dollars. What has he got, like 50, 55 million left on the last couple of years? If they feel like they can go get 20 million per year for 4 years, why not? Why couldn't Story opt out? Kyle, I see you in the chat. No way Story opts out with his injury history. The last injury that he had was a fluke play. It was a fluke play. He was diving out in Anaheim, landed just incredibly awkward on his shoulder. It's a fluke play. And he was looking really good up to that point. I just don't. It's one thing if it's like injury after injury after injury, but it's one of those where he dislocated his shoulder. That's not really a wear and tear injury. Like you could even say Bregman with the quad. That's more of a wear and tear kind of a thing. Story, that was a fluke thing. He had the elbow problem before that. After many years of being injury free, I don't know. I just think after the great year he had, I think there is a chance he could opt out. I'm not saying he's going to, but I think there's a chance he could. Then again, if he likes it here, then yeah, opt back in. Obviously, he was very good, and they figured something out this year. He's a leader for the team. Trevor Story was the glue of the team this year. He kept things together when when times were down. If he likes it, if he likes being here, then yeah, I could see him sticking around. And obviously, he would still get that guaranteed money over the next couple of years. So there's pros and cons for both. It's going to be interesting. It's not going to be an easy decision either way. So that'll be interesting. How's this outfield going to look? DH. That was one thing that we were talking about going into the deadline. Listen, it's still on the table. Still here. Roman is obviously not going anywhere. He's going to be in the leadoff spot. That's your leadoff hitter moving forward. He's a prototypical leadoff hitter. That's your guy. Seti, he's your center fielder. The guy was amazing this year. I said Seti, and my iPad thought I said Siri. He's not going anywhere. I'm looking at Wilyer, Duran, and Massa. Out of those three, I think Wilyer is more realistic to stick around because he has another year of control. He's cheaper. From a value and dollar perspective and the power that he brings from the left side, I think he probably sticks around. I think teams would make phone calls for him, but I think the Red Sox would like to hang on to him, especially with the arm that he has out in right field as well. So that leaves Duran and Massa. I think there's a realistic chance that both Duran and Massa are not back in 2026. I think there is a realistic chance. Duran, he does bring a lot of good things to the table, and I'm not basing that off of what happened here in this series. That I think that ties into it a little bit, but I almost kind of wonder, with Duran, there's been a lot of things with him that have happened. He's had a lot. He's had, multiple miscues this year. Wasn't as good with the bat over a full season this year compared to last year. Obviously he had the whole thing, with the fan. This year seemed like, he was getting bothered with some things. I just wonder if a fresh start for him is something that could be on the table, And I also wonder too, because of what he brings. I mean, listen, he's a talented player. And I just wonder if teams will see the speed that he has and the athleticism that he has, the dynamic player that he is, and think, hey, we would love to have that guy. And he has value. He has multiple years of control. He has 3 more years. And if teams out there, they're looking to boost up the speed in their lineup, looking for a left fielder, he's going to be inconsistent out there, but if they're looking for something like that, I could see it. The one thing I'm looking at right now, I wonder if the Twins could be a possibility. I wonder if you could go out. We'll get to Joe Ryan here in a second. That is a talking point for me. But is there a possible match? The Twins, they're going through a bit of a retool. I still think that's a team that, even though they traded away a lot of guys, they still have a lot of talented players. And I wonder if Duran, he fits into their window. I don't think the Twins, they're not like the Marlins right now, right? Or the White Sox. They're not in that spot. I think the Twins, especially in that Central that's just always up for grabs, I think they have the talent to put something together. Yes, keeping Joe Ryan helps their chances, but at the same time, are they going to sign him long? They're not going to sign him long term, and he's getting closer to free agency. So, I don't know. I wonder if you could do something with Duran there. I saw mixed reports saying that the Twins were interested in Duran. I saw other reports saying they weren't. I don't know. Whatever it is, I think there's going to be interest for him out there. The Padres, after getting knocked out here, they're going to look, that offense got completely shut down this series. AJ Preller, can he figure out a way to get a deal done with more time on his hands in the offseason to go get the guy that he's been wanting in Duran? Yeah, I could see the Padres maybe making another phone call. They're going to have to do they got some work to do. They're going to need some pitching, right? Dylan Cease, Michael King hitting free agency. So they got work to do, but they need to add something for that offense. I wonder if that could be an option. I'd have to think about it more. I know there's other teams out there for Duran that can make sense. I even wonder, it might sound crazy, but, could the Marlins even be a possibility? Probably not, but I look at a team that they showed some good things this year. A team that I feel like maybe they could use more bats there. And they got a surplus in pitching. Could that be an option? The Reds, they're moving in the right direction. Could that be an option? All right, they got some pitching. Could the Reds be a possibility? All right, I think there's teams the Dodgers. Michael Conforto is going to be a free agent. Could the Dodgers be a possibility? I know they've been linked with Kyle Tucker. Stephen Kwan they were linked to at the deadline. Jarren Duran. Maybe he could be a possibility if those options don't work out, if that's what they pursue. There's spots for Duran out there. There's plenty. And I'm not going to be surprised to see him get moved. Masataka Yoshida. Listen, I know he got hot in September. I love Masa, man. I love him. Like, when he's healthy, I think the guy's a productive player. But I think for what the Red Sox need right now, they need more pop in the middle of the order. This year, I know they got better in the second half when Roman was moved to the leadoff spot and they moved Duran into the middle there. But I feel like personally, they need more run production. They need a bopper. Overall this year, the Red Sox were 20th in WRC plus in the third and fourth spot combined. They need something for the middle. I'm looking at Kyle Schwarber. I'm looking at him. Absolutely. Is it a pipe dream? Will he come back to Boston? I don't know, honestly. I think his market is really interesting. I think the Phillies have a great chance of keeping him around. Obviously, the guy he's a household name there in Philly. They love him there, right? He's been great with the clubhouse. But could the Red Sox, if they get involved, could they throw money at him that he can't refuse? And I think and here's another thing too, I forgot to say at the start. I think the Red Sox are going to be aggressive this offseason. We've been kind of, a couple of years ago, they wouldn't fully pull the trigger. All right, they got Giolito. That's another one to pay attention to. What's going to happen with him? What's going on with the elbow? I think it's probably going to end up being okay, but do they roll it back with him? I could possibly see that, especially after the elbow thing. If they think he's okay, then I could see, that probably stick around with him. Lost my train of thought. Oh, but I think the Red Sox are going to be aggressive, right? Last offseason, they had a big offseason. Made a ton of moves last offseason that put them back into this position. I don't see why you stop being aggressive. They got a lot of prospects that they could work with here. You got a surplus. I don't think Connolly Early is going to go anywhere. I think that guy's going to be in your rotation moving forward. But you got some other guys, right? Yostinson Garcia, is he going to be in the mix? What's going on with David Sandlin? Is he a starter? Is he a reliever? What's the outlook on him? I don't know. Mikey Romero, does he have a path for the Red Sox? I don't know. But they got guys that could be intriguing for a lot of other teams out there. And I expect the Red Sox to be working the phones, both in free agency and on the trade market. Absolutely. I don't see why you wouldn't. To me, there's no way you stand pat. This is where you got to move forward here. You got to keep building, right? Schwarber for the middle of the order. That's the guy that I'm looking at. I haven't really looked at any other. Trust me, we're going to be doing an off-season preview. We're going to be getting to it. We're going to be getting to it over the next couple of weeks or so. There's going to be off-season content coming. But Schwarber's the guy I got at the top of my list. You need a number 2 in the rotation. Simple as that. There's no other. You need to go get a guy. You just saw it. I mean, if there is ever an example of how badly you need a number 2 in the rotation, this series was it. You had Crochet, an absolute freaking monster in game 1, putting up a career high in pitches, an amazing performance, but then you just had nothing after him. Brian Bayo, he got the ball in game 2, and he just gave you an absolute dud. He ran out of gas here over the last month. You need a guy. Brian Bayo is not a number 2. We all knew this. I mean, this is nothing new. I'm not saying anything that's crazy. I'm not. Very evident. Joe Ryan was a name that popped up at the deadline. That's the guy, in my opinion. You got to go make that move. Problem is, other teams are going to get into the mix too. The Mets are going to be looking for starting pitching. They got prospects. They're going to be competitive. They're going to try and land a guy like him. What are the Blue Jays going to do? Blue Jays here, I mean, let's see how they look here the rest of the way, but I expect the Blue Jays to be aggressive yet again. The San Francisco Giants, they're going to be aggressive. I mean, they got maybe some guys who could get a deal done, maybe. It's not going to be a slam dunk for the Red Sox to go and get him. I think they can get it done, but they're going to have to really, they're going to have to beat some offers out there. Crochet, I think they were just the clear cut. In my opinion, when it came to landing Crochet, they were the clear-cut team. I didn't think they were going to get beat out. To me, the Red Sox going into that last offseason, I felt like they had the best shot of landing him. This offseason, though, I think they have a great shot at landing Ryan, but other teams do too. So we'll see how that goes. If you don't get Joe Ryan, do you go to free agency? You're going to have some options. Do you break the bank for a Dylan Cease? The metrics were better compared to the surface numbers. The Red Sox like swing and miss. Do they feel like they can bring in Cease? They have been interested in him in the past. I think Joe Ryan would be the guy you go after, but if you don't get him, is Cease a fallback? Will John Henry sign off on it? Hey, he was going to sign off for Max Fried. Dylan Cease, I could see the Red Sox looking at him. Framber Valdez, I don't know. I think a lot of teams got scared off after the whole incident. We'll see. The whole the cross up with his catcher in Houston. I don't know. But there are some options in free agency. You got to figure out second base. I'm not saying you go out there and go get a guy, but what's the plan at second base? The Red Sox were bottom 10 and outs above average there this year. Once again, second base was inconsistent. Christian Campbell was looking like he was going to be the guy. I still think he has every opportunity to be that guy, but defensively this year, he had some issues. They got to figure out the defense at second base. They got to do it. So what do you do there? Coaching staff. Are they going to make any moves? I don't think Cora is going anywhere. I'd be shocked. I know a lot of people. You're going to see a lot of people on Twitter land calling for Cora's job. I have a hard time seeing him going anywhere. I'd be shocked. I really would. But Hudson, third base coach, Kyle Hudson. We had a few moments this year where you were scratching your head, and we just had one in this series with Nate Eaton not going home. I get it. It's going to be different when you're on the field, when you're at field level. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's different. But, really, I think when it came down to it, I think a lot of people saw that, Nate Eaton probably should have scored. So I don't know. Are you going to go with a different third base coach? The offense, when you had Roman, the Red Sox were a top 10 offense. But they had, in the first half, a lot of people were questioning Peter Fatsi. I don't know. Is there going to be a bit of an adjustment there? I don't know. Obviously, the offense got better. It did. The swing and miss ended up getting cut down. The strikeouts went down. But are you going to see some changes with the coaching staff? I think you could. This is going to be a busy offseason. This is going to be an interesting offseason. We had a very interesting one last year. I think we're due for another. I don't think it's going to slow down at all, personally. We'll see how it goes. Let's get to some voicemails here. Let's get to some voicemails. I know a lot of you. You are ready to give me your thoughts. Let's see what we got. All righty, how many we got? We got 5. We got 5 voicemails. Let's do it. Let's see. All righty, I've been doing all right with the technology here. The first couple of times we've done this. All right, what do we got?
Hey, Robbie, this is Davey. I'm a Yankee fan, I know, but I love your show. I just want to say good.
Thank you.
GG's on the great season. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to make the Red Sox make playoffs. They did. But I think we all know that they weren't going to go very far. The pitching just wasn't great. The bullpen, RSIP was awesome. I mean, terrible, but it wasn't great. But you have a base, get some good free agents. Next year could be really crazy. But GG's on a great season. Looking forward to the awesome postseason content, man. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you for that. And I agree. At the end of the day, yes, it's a disappointing ending. I do think they had enough to get past in this series. The Yankees, in the end, were the better team. But you're right. They have a good base here. The window has opened. You can only go up from here. I mean, my goodness, if they went down from here, I mean, what the heck? No, but you're right. Good base. This is a good launching pad, I think. They have, how do I say this? Right now, in this moment, not a whole lot of momentum. But as an organization, the way things have been trending when it comes to player development, the on-field talent at the major league level, as well as the minor leagues, there is momentum as an organization, right? So I think things are looking up. They got to go out there and they got to make moves. And I think they're going to be motivated to do that. Thank you again. I appreciate that. All right, let's take a look. All righty. Let's get to the next voicemail. That's not the right one. Hold on. Download. I can't find the buttons. Here we go.
Oh, Robbie, man, that sucks so damn bad. But I want to stay away from the negatives and focus on the positives for right now. I just want to congratulate you on a really good season, man. Started the channel, back in January. I really enjoyed watching the post games every night. Really brought some fun to the season, even when we had some really rough losses in there. Going with that 5K stuff, dude, just props to you, man. You did every game, every day, had a lot of fun. It's great. It was a great season. It was great season. So, props to you.
Oh.
Congratulations, and just have fun off season, man.
I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. It was a fun year. We did every single game. Well, -1, but I was at the game that I went to. I had credentials for the first time. I was in Tampa. It's the only post game I didn't do, but I had a good excuse because I was there. So it was fun, man. It was a lot of fun, and I didn't know what to expect with it. And here we are. Partnered up with Nesson now. Crazy year. I mean, what a year. I remember last offseason. It's funny. I'll give you all a little bit of a story, a little bit of a personal thing. Last offseason, I was trying to make a few extra bucks. I was trying to make a little extra money, and I've talked about this in the past, but I've done Uber on any weekends and whatnot. Right, I did that for a couple of years. Actually, made some pretty decent money, but last offseason. I never really said this, but actually, about 10 years ago, I delivered pizza. And my old boss, he asked if I wanted to help him out because they were busy and they had no one. And I actually helped him out. And I had started the Fenway Faithful channel. That's what it was first called. And I remember for the first video, I recorded it and I edited it. I think it was just like the offseason preview video. And I literally did the thumbnail in my car between deliveries. Don't tell anyone that. I was on the clock, but I made the thumbnail while I was delivering pizzas for that. So it's funny how it started like that. But I was really motivated last offseason to do a Red Sox channel. That's what I wanted to do from the get-go when I first started YouTube. It was a Red Sox channel. If you go back to my main channel, not here, but my main one, my first videos were about the Red Sox, and I wasn't getting any views, and that's how it is on YouTube in general, but I did a video that talked about a couple other teams, and all of a sudden those gained, well, at the time, they gained like a few hundred views, which for me, the first couple of videos, first few, I think I was getting like 10, 15 or something like that. And then the next ones, I think I talked about the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, when it came to the Mookie Betts, David Price rumors. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting like 400 views on these videos. So that kind of said to me, all right, I need to talk all Major League Baseball. That's what I needed to do. And the channel is where it is today. It's grown a lot. But I still, at some point, I knew I wanted to talk about the Red Sox because that's my team, obviously. I've been following the Red Sox for a long time. Funny little thing, here, I have a gold necklace. My parents had got me this when I was 15 years old. It's just the Red Sox logo. And I've worn this ever since I was 15. So how many years is that now? That's 20 years I've been wearing this. So the only time I ever took it off was when I was playing baseball because the umpires would make me take it off. Or lately, I got to go get the chain like fixed, but it's actually been like falling off of my neck. So I've been a Red Sox fan for as long as I can remember. Going back to when I first moved to Massachusetts when I was a kid. So long time. I knew I wanted to talk about the Red Sox, and I had the opportunity. And I was like, you know what? I felt like last offseason I was in that spot to be able to do it, and I did it. I just pulled the trigger on it, and here we are. That's just a life lesson for any of you out there. I'm not like anything, I'm not like this amazing story or anything, but if you want to do something, if you just want to go for it, go for it. You just got to start, That's what I did last offseason, and here we are. We're with Nesson now. It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy. Anyway, I don't know where I was with that. Thank you for the words, my friend. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot. The support, encouragement, it really does mean a lot. I genuinely mean that when I say that. So let's get to it. Let's get to the next one. Alrighty.
Hey, I just wanted to start off by saying I've always loved watching your post-game recaps and just videos in general. But what I called you for was to say, I think if they would have never traded Devers away, he still could have been that impact bat, which could have boosted him past the Yankees, and as we all know, helped for years on end. Even though he was a bad clubhouse presence, which the reporters made it seem that way, obviously, I think they could have overcame that and just would have been the boost that really could have helped us go further this year.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest with you. Not having Rafi's bat, I was even kind of thinking about that the last couple of games. I'm like, man, would be great to have Rafi, would be nice. I mean, they had Rafi, for the first couple of months there. They were struggling with the lineup as a whole. But still, you would have liked to have him, obviously. I mean, he was getting red hot there right before he got moved. Yes, it would have been nice to have him. It is what it is, It's like we can dissect it. We can look at it from every different angle. He felt slighted by the Red Sox. That's what it was. He didn't want to play first base. He felt like, they had not communicated with him well. He felt like they weren't respectful to him. But then I also see it from the other side where, at the end of the day, you got to help the team. I think in the end, there's not really there's a right and wrong, but I think there's right and wrong from both sides. I think you could always do things better from both sides. And in the end, it just didn't work out anymore. And that's just the way life is sometimes. It's not going to be one person getting the blame all the time. You know, it just didn't work out. As simple as that. The Red Sox did what they had to do. The Giants, they saw the opportunity and they made the move. Yeah, it would have been great if Rafi had just moved to first base. He went to first base for the Giants, and that said everything you needed to know. He just didn't feel right with the Red Sox anymore. Felt like that time had come, and he wasn't helping out anymore. You know, but then you could look at it from the side where, in the end, he was letting his teammates down. You know, that's where I had a problem with it, right? You know, it's one thing if you feel like the organization, you're not feeling it with your bosses anymore, but you got the other guys in the clubhouse. That's where I had a personal problem with it. I get his gripe, and I understood it. It just didn't work out. Sometimes things are just not going to be always hunky-dory and perfect. It's just not going to work. And it didn't work. I would have loved to have him. Obviously, it's Rafi Devers. The guy was a legend here. Would have loved it. It is what it is. Kyle, that is also true. He's still, that is very true. He's still got to work on first base. Pinstripe Territory is here. Hey, good series, my friend. The Yankees, man, they deserve that one. Schlittler, what a performance. Holy cow. That's a performance for the ages right there. You know, that's what I love, man. That's what we need to start bringing back. Good starting pitching performances. And Schlittler, he brought that here. And I'm glad the Yankees, they're trying to bring that back a little bit. Great performance for him tonight. You also said here with Roman, you guys may have swept. I do think Roman was a big game changer, or the lack of. That was massive to lose him. It really was. And that's why I kept talking about it when they lost him, because you saw the difference in the lineup. When he was at the top, he set the tone. The lineup was just so much better when he let off. It took pressure off of everyone else because he would either do damage in the leadoff spot or he would give you a base runner, and then the pitchers had to adjust to the guys behind him. He's a nightmare at the top of the order. And, you know, it is what it is. But that time hasn't come yet. Hopefully, maybe we'll get a rematch next year. Maybe Roman maybe goes to the Bronx, maybe does something there. We'll see. But thank you, Derek. I appreciate you, my friend. Good luck against the Blue Jays. That's going to be a fun series, right? Blue Jays are a tough team. But yes, with Rafi, would have loved him. It is what it is. Let's go to the next one here. Let's see what we got.
The Red Sox have signed Pete Alonso and Shane Bieber in the offseason.
Oh, was that it? Oh, that was it. Okay. Pete Alonso, that's an interesting one. Thank you for the call. Pete Alonso is interesting. The only reason I hold back, I know Casas is hurt. I know that. I get it. I just don't know what the Red Sox are thinking at first base. I think Pete Alonso, the right-handed power bat that he is, I think he's perfect. It just checks off so many boxes. If you end up not getting someone like Schwarber, I think Alonso makes a ton of sense. What you could do, I mean, if Casas is ready to come back and he's good, well, if they end up moving on from Massa, which I personally think there's a good chance that'll happen. Yeah, you could do Alonso and at DH first base, and you know, and Casas comes back, he still has a way back into the lineup. So I think you could see Pete Alonso. It'll be interesting. I think he fits perfect. We'll see. Shane Bieber? We'll see. We'll see about Shane Bieber. The Red Sox were interested in him. He's looked pretty decent for the most part with the Blue Jays, and that's only just coming back. I think the Red Sox will show interest in Bieber again. I wouldn't be surprised, even though the Red Sox have a lot of young starting pitchers, and they got Crochet and Bayo and quite possibly Giolito, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they end up going after a number two in Joe Ryan, but also even someone like Bieber, right? We'll see. But I wouldn't be mad at those pickups at all. Let's get to the next one here. Here we go.
The Red Sox have signed Pete Alonso and
that
Shane
wasn't the
Bieber
right
in the
one.
offseason.
I knew I would goof it up. I knew it. Hold on, here we go. Let's download this one. There we go.
Hey, Robbie, this is Mason from Virginia. Not too much to say. This is pretty freaking depressing. But yeah, man, just wanted to say I appreciate your coverage of the Red Sox. And I really hope it's better next year. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I appreciate that, my friend. Appreciate the kind words. I think next year will be better. I think they're set up for it. I think, honestly, you get Roman on this team for a full year. What happens with Marcelo Meyer? That's another thing. Could Marcelo Meyer be the guy at second base? I don't know, but what do you do with Campbell? I'm not sure. But Marcelo Meyer could be an option at second base if you keep Story, right? If he sticks around. So, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm very curious how they align everything, right? Or what they shoot for going into spring training. Very curious. But Marcelo Meyer would absolutely handle all of those questions defensively. Man, oh man. Wouldn't mind that at all. Thank you, my friend. Here we go. We got one more here. Oh, I thought we were going to have one more. We got another call coming in. You guys are going crazy with the phone calls. Here we go.
Well, hey, I guess we could all agree that Cam Schlittler was our daddy tonight. Anyways, hey, you know what? It was a great season. We were damaged goods. The Red Sox were very injured. We didn't have our best squad out there. We made the playoffs. These guys were fighters. We got to be aggressive in the offseason. It ain't over till it's over, baby. It's over now, but next year I think we're going to come back a lot stronger. Let's get it next year, Red Sox Nation. Great show, by the way. I love your show. Up here from Maine. Have a great night.
Thank you, my friend. I love the accent right there. I love that New England accent coming in right there. You're right, though. They were kind of playing in a way, sort of like House of Cards, man. They were damaged, like you just said. They were not at full strength. They were just kind of just rolling with what they had, and they made the most of it. And it worked out a lot, right, in that final month. And they found a way. You had that clincher, the exciting moment with Seti. They had good moments, even without Roman. But you're right. They weren't at full strength. It wasn't their best team. You could see tonight, after the first couple of innings, you felt like, what's the word I'm looking for? The energy of the team it just died. Like something, it's like they knew they were done. Cora, after that fourth inning, ESPN, they did the interview with Cora. He looked like the writing was on the wall. Like that's how it looked to me. I don't know. Cora, yeah, he looked pretty disappointed. But yeah, but you're right. They were hurt. They had guys on the IL. Don't forget about all these other guys, like Hunter Dobbins, for example, right? He was solid there, and then he ended up missing time. Obviously, Costas in the very beginning. We never got that Tristan Costas turnaround. We were all kind of hoping he was going to get himself going, but, they lost him from the early going, right? That was something they had to adjust to all year. Luckily, Nate Lowe came over, and he gave them something. They were trying to figure things out all year, right? It is what it is. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate all of your support. Here we go. Let's get to this last one here. Let's get to the last one. I got to figure out a quicker way to do these. Here we go.
Hey, Robbie. Austin from Tampa.
Tampa.
Reflecting back, I really think all we needed was a good trade deadline and a healthy Roman Anthony, and we went all the way, baby. See you next year.
Thank you, my friend. Hey, Florida native. Welcome, welcome. But, yeah, trade deadline. That's something I haven't really touched on. I hate to keep going back to it, but that's why you wanted to have a good deadline. You didn't get Merrill Kelly. Now, the thing with Merrill Kelly is that might have cost you Connolly early. So that's kind of the way I look at it, where, did you really want to give him up? The guy's very promising. He's looking like a guy that could be in the middle of your rotation for years to come here. that could have been the price, and Dustin May, obviously they were hoping they could get him, get something figured out with him. I didn't like the move from the get-go. Wasn't a fan of it. I was hoping for the best, and we saw a couple of glimpses. He had that start against the Astros, looked good. You got Matz. I mean, doesn't really matter all that much now, but Matz was fine, but he wasn't the big pickup you needed. You needed something else. You needed Joe Ryan, but I think Joe Ryan could have happened. They just ran out of time. I think that's really what it was. I don't think it was a matter of the teams not being able to figure something out. I just don't think they could figure it out in time. I think that's more of an offseason thing. When you got a guy like Joe Ryan with the trade value that he has, again, look at what it cost to get Crochet. You had to give up a guy like Kyle Teal, who was a top 25 prospect. You had to give up Braden Montgomery, who is a promising lefty bat moving forward. You had to give up a solid player like Mydroth that any organization would love to have out there. Wickelman Gonzalez as well, right? But you had to give up that. That's a lot that you had to give up for Crochet. That's what you're gonna have to do something similar for Ryan. Very similar, right? Maybe a little bit less, but you're looking at something right in the same ballpark. That's tough to do in the middle of a season. It just is. That's an offseason kind of a move. Guys like Merrill Kelly, those are the guys that it's easier to get a deal done because you're not looking at a whole lot of capital. You're not looking at a whole, couple of prospects, bam, bam, done. Bada bing, bada boom. Right? What did the Rangers give up for Merrill Kelly? Cole Stewart, I believe that. What was it? Cole Stewart, right? Guy in like that 10 to 7 range when it came to a top 30 prospect list. Those are the kind of guys where it's like, okay, we'll give you this guy. We'll give you another one. When you're kind of going through it, when you're looking at offers as a team, you're not having to look at as much. But when you're looking at, a big old package for Ryan, that's going to be tough. That's an off-season move. But I agree. I think the trade deadline, it is what it is, right? You wish you could have done more. But I think the Red Sox, I felt like that kind of said where the Red Sox think they are as an organization, where they're not ready to go. At that point, they weren't ready to go all in on like going for a World Series. I think they were thinking, okay, let's make the postseason. Let's get there first. We can make a couple of moves that can help fortify things. But that clearly told me where they felt they were and what they were willing to give up. They weren't there yet. This offseason and next deadline, I could see them being more aggressive. We'll see. But I think I'm going to wrap things up there, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Tough end. It is what it is. I'll be honest with you, though. Talking all this offseason stuff, it's getting the juices flowing, ladies and gentlemen. Already, I'm starting to get into offseason mode. You can see the excitement as I'm talking about all these possibilities. That's kind of how my channel started from the get-go, right? Not just this one, or not just my main channel, but this one as well. We started last offseason, right? I love roster construction. I love all this stuff, man. I love talking the trades. And yes, we do have a couple of super chats. Let me get to those. Let me get to the supers. I know we had a couple of those as well. Thank you for those. Do appreciate that. Man, we've been here for almost an hour. Man, oh man. We still got a big old crowd in here. Let's take a look at the super chats. Wonder Davy. What do we got here? The Red Sox weren't building for a deep run. The Blue Jays would have crushed them. In my predictions, unfortunately, I did pick the Blue Jays to beat the Red Sox. I like the Blue Jays. I like that team. I'm kind of a little curious about the Yankees, though. I had picked the Red Sox over the Yankees because I thought Cora could pull it out when it came to the matchups, the platoons, the bullpen. I thought he could do it again. But they couldn't get it done. I wonder about the Yankees against the Blue Jays, though. That's interesting. So But I agree. I think the Blue Jays were a team that was going to be really tough to beat in a 5-game series. Because that 3-game series against the Yankees, I think that was doable, especially with Crochet for one of them. 5-game series, though, Crochet in uncharted territory when it came to his innings, that was a little more iffy to me, right? But I agree, Wonder Davy. Let's see what happens. I got another super chat here. Hyde's Pies would be an insane pizza company. Oh, man. Hey, I got to start thinking about some investment possibilities. Maybe we can do something like that. I wouldn't mind a nice little pizza joint. That'd be pretty fun. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the super chats. We did have a couple of text messages as well. Let's take a look. We got this one. Hi, Robbie. How do you see the Costa situation playing out once he comes back? Does he come back, in your opinion? I mean, I don't see how you move him. I don't see how he goes anywhere, because, I mean, he doesn't have any value right now. He just had a major injury. So that's where I could see the Red Sox going after Pete Alonso, because you have someone for first base, and then when Casas comes back, he can just slide in, Again, I don't know what the Red Sox perspective is on that, but Alonso would fit. And I think the Red Sox were connected with Alonso last offseason, I believe. I think there was a couple of reports, possibly. But yeah. We had another one here. As somebody who loves Duran, he's 100% getting traded this offseason. Free up the leadoff spot for Roman in one of the outfield spots. Do you think Casas gets another shot for next year, or will the Sox try and figure out another solution? Yeah, again, I think Alonso's on the table. I do think Duran's going to get moved. It's not that I want him to get moved, but I thought he was a possibility at the deadline, because I'm looking at it from a logistical point of view. I'm looking at the years of control, the salary that he's making. I think, what has he got? He's got an option for next year. He's still in arbitration, but I think he has an option for next year. Either way, Willier's going to be cheaper. It's kind of I look at it from that point of view, but also I think the Red Sox, since they already have Roman, when I saw Roman leading off in the minors, that was a big signal to me that maybe Duran could end up getting moved within the next year or two. Because Roman is an amazing leadoff hitter. So I think Duran's going to get moved. I really do. I think I'm feeling pretty good about that one. If I were to make a prediction, who knows, though? Who knows? What do we got here? We got one more. Or maybe a couple of more. Here we go. The offseason is going to be difficult. What do we do with our pitching? Harrison, Early, Tolley. Maybe you're number 5, but we cannot keep building fringe rotations. The preparing for injury argument is fine and dandy, but the whole pitching lab isn't as great, and it all came off as a one-trick pony, both last year and this one. I do think it's important to have these young guys like Kyle Harrison, Early, Tolley. I mean, Tolley, he's going to be a big part of this roster moving forward. He's going to be a big part of this pitching staff moving forward. They are going to get into, I know you said the pitching lab, but they're going to really get to work with him this coming off season. They've built the velo up. Now they're going to work on the secondaries, right? Now they're going to work on the command with that. Tolley is going to be a big part of this rotation moving forward. And I think Early too, right? Harrison's interesting. Harrison feels like a depth guy at this point. Could he end up being a reliever? I don't know. Or could he end up being used in a trade? I don't know. But Early, Tolley, I don't see them going anywhere. I see. Then you said here, we need 2 proper starting pitchers to complement Crochet and Bayo. Our infield needs to improve. So we trade either Duran, Abreu. We're stuck with Yoshida and Casas. Story is a question mark, but should be playing second next year. Bregman needs to stay on this team. Too much going on. I think you're going to see a lot of people say that with Story. You saw some issues going on with the throwing arm this past month. That was another thing. Story was making some weird throws. It was kind of out of nowhere, too. Barry in the chat, yes. Also, Kyle Harrison, Early, Tolley, yes. Hunter Dobbins, I mentioned him earlier. He's going to be a part of that mix, too. So, yeah, you got a lot of depth guys. But, Story, I wonder what the case is there. I wonder if that could come up in the conversation when it comes to an opt-out. Maybe the Red Sox think, hey, we want to go with Meyer at shortstop. Could you play second? I wonder if that could be something that could possibly pop up. I don't know. But yeah, when it comes to the pitching, I do think they need someone established. I think they need a dude behind Crochet. I agree. Let's do one more here. I think we got a couple more. I'll do a couple more. We got to wrap things up. I know many people are focusing on the negatives, but I feel good seeing the team so close to beating the Yankees, despite missing players like Roman, Lucas, Giolito, Hunter Dobbins, Dustin May, Casas. It was great to get the young guys playoff experience. That is valuable at the end of the day, right? You got here, you got into an environment like this. It's only going to make you better at the end of the day. One more. Hey, Robbie, Red Sox fan in Pennsylvania, really excited for the offseason. Hopefully Bregman's signed long-term. Duran needs to be traded with prospects for pitching. Red Sox need to address first and second base as well. I think second base, at the end of the day, I think it's going to come within the organization. The one thing I just wonder about is what happens with Christian Campbell. That is such a big question mark for me. Like, you just signed him long-term, and I think he's got a very promising future. What do you do with him? Like, is he your second baseman? I mean, I'm looking at Story and Meyer right now, and I'm looking at guaranteed defense at second base. I don't think Campbell's playing first base. I think they've already come out and said they're not going to be playing him at first base. So I don't know. I mean, we're talking about moving outfielders here, but is he a possibility for the outfield? I mean, could you see a situation where I don't see how you could put Campbell in the outfield. I mean, Duran, yes, I think there's a good chance he ends up getting moved, but well, then you got Roman and you got Seti and you got Wheeler. I feel like the only way that you could put Campbell in the outfield is if you move both Duran and Wheeler, and then you have Campbell being your left fielder. But then I don't know about that, because it's not guaranteed at this point. Like, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, you need to see how Campbell responds, right? You could have all the faith you want, but I don't know. I don't know how Campbell's going to work into this mix. Very curious about that. I see you, Connor, in the chat. Campbell's going to be given a shot at second. I think Story could opt out. I mean, yes, the infield, yeah. Meyer short, Campbell is second. Then I just think back, like, what's the defense going to look like? His defense was not very good at second base. I think he can get better, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We will see. All right, we had one more voicemail. We got one more. Let's do this one. One more, and then I'm going to skedaddle. Here we go. Last voicemail of the night. It's already midnight. Holy cow, it's past my bedtime.
Hello, and good evening. My name's Sean, calling from Billings, Montana. Usually I'm in your YouTube chat room, and I just wanted to say your podcasts are great. It's, as a Red Sox fan, it's really tough. You know, I don't like losing to anything New York. I mean, first it was the Celtics losing in the spring playoffs this year to the Knicks, and then, the Red Sox losing the Yankees. But I want you all to know that the future is very bright for this team. The Red Sox really need to be active this off season. And, the thing is, I know the reason why maybe they may not do a lot is because MLB will be headed to the lockout after 2026. But they need to go out and get some holes. But honestly, the future is very bright for this team because you have a young ball club with a great farm system. And with Bregman, I think we'll know more basically next month if he's going to, opt in or opt out. But stay strong, all of us. I know this is frustrating. We'll get through it. And I do know the Red Sox window is very much open for the foreseeable future with championships because I still feel it. But anyway, thanks so much for your time. And keep up the great work with your show. Bye-bye.
Thank you, my friend. Again, love the encouraging words. Love the support. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I think that's a good point that you brought up right there, the lockout. That's going to be something all the teams are going to have to focus on. I personally think they're going to figure this lockout out. I don't know. I just think the way the game is right now, with where money's going, with the revenue that's coming in, the ratings are better than they've been in years. I don't see how you could let it get to a lockout. I think that would be such a failure. Like, yes, after COVID and everything, after all that, that's one thing. But with where the sport is right now, you can't let it get to that point. You just can't. With where things are at, I think they'll figure it out. Of course, you're going to hear all of it. You're going to hear all the things, all the debate over, the whole salary cap thing. That's going to be a topic that's going to continue to happen or continue to be discussed. I'm not sure how you do that. I can't really give you my opinion on that because I don't know how all that stuff works, to be honest. Like, yes, I think it's easy to say, yes, we got to get a salary cap. Yes, we need to get a salary floor. I'm not going to sit here and give an opinion when, listen, economics and all that's not my strong suit. So my thing is just get to the table and figure it out, all right? Both sides, get it done. Come up with something that's going to be good for everyone. But I agree. The Red Sox, the future is looking bright. And I think that's a great way to end the show here tonight. Jim's here. Jim Riley is here of Ballcap Sports. What's going on? Sorry about your Sox. Congrats on getting through 165. We got through 160. Actually, hold on. No, we did 164 because I missed one game because I went to the one in Tampa. So I can't say I did 165. I did 164. I was at the game. I just didn't do the show. I'm sorry. I missed one game. I apologize. I'm trying, Jim. I'm trying. But, yeah. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. And we're only going to keep going from here. Only going to keep going. But everybody, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm sad. I'm kind of hungry. I got to go eat something. I don't know. I wonder if we're going to get I wonder, are we going to get some kind of news tomorrow? And are we even going to get a day of rest? Are we going to even be able to sit back and kind of just be sad for a day? Or are we going to see some announcements of some sort tomorrow? I don't know. Are we going to get anything tomorrow? I mean, obviously no free agency or trades, obviously, but I don't know. I wonder if we end up getting something. I don't know. Anyway, but if anything does happen here in the next couple of days, we'll be here. But yeah, we'll see how things go. Everybody, I do want to say as well, this coming off season, yes, we're going to be doing all the streams, all the shows, all the podcasts. We're going to be, obviously we're not going to have 162 games to talk about. We're not going to have, trade deadline in the middle of the season, but we're still going to have multiple streams during the week, right? You're probably going to see Fridays and Saturdays be a bit more quiet unless something breaking happens. Sunday nights, you're going to get all the rumors from that weekend that you're going to have to dive into, all the things that pop up during the week. So, off season, you're probably looking at Sunday through Thursdays usually, maybe some Fridays and Saturdays mixed in. I will also say, if they do Fenway Fest this year, they did it last year for the first time, where it was freezing cold and snow was all over the place. Fenway Park looked like a winter wonderland. The only thing that was missing was Santa Claus and his reindeer. But if they do have that, I am going to try and be a part of it. That has been a conversation in the past. I don't know if that's still a possibility, but we'll see. We'll see. I would love to be a part of that if it is going to happen. I don't know if they've announced that it's going to happen again. Maybe they did. I don't know. If they did, I missed it, which is not surprising for me. But we'll see. We'll see. Would love to be a part of that if they do it. So, if they do it, and I am able to be included, I'd love to be able to go and see all your friendly faces out there. So, but until then, everybody go get some rest. Go cry yourself to sleep like I'm going to do. And I'll talk to you next time.